What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about LTCN and BCHG in this video today. Not at the request of anybody. I'm just going to keep it brief and give you a little update because I know I haven't been as on it with these as I used to be, but life has been busy for me lately, guys. It's about to slow down, but this week especially has been a very busy week. Enough excuses, though. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it. 1487 is the current price for LTCN right now. Had a 15% week last week, had a 28%, 28.5% the week before. Definitely a nice past couple weeks. Hopefully looking to be good going into this next week here. Bouncing off the 35, not a common thing to do, but you have found support in this area before, so that's okay. That's nice to see. You've also found support in this area before price-wise, and it's the 123 moving average on a weekly basis here. If we take the overall low to high of this move, right down to your 0.5 again, not a common thing to do, but whenever you find significance on it, I like to say you get significant moves, and this very much does look like the beginning of something significant. However, if you turn around here at the 382, that would be absolutely disgusting. It'd be terrible. Absolutely, you'd be going to $7.09 at a minimum. So break through this area. You want to get above 1544. You don't want to reject it. If you reject it, if you see the price, you're at 1487 now. If on Monday the price goes to 1550 and then it moves down to $13, that's okay. It's not time to panic yet, right? It's whenever we get below this 0.5 or even like really around there, which don't get me wrong, $13 is pretty close to 1040. Don't get me wrong, it is, but I would say like once we get to around like 1140, that's when I would start to worry a little bit. Okay, so moving down from this area immediately, more or less, doesn't mean it's forgotten, right? It could start the week off to the downside and then it moves up, whatever. But I would like to see us get above this area. It's very crucial, I think, that you get above 1544. And here's where some good news is that might imply that we do get that continuation upwards. From a relative high to a relative low, you have successfully moved above your 236 and closed above it with not just a daily close, but a weekly close, right? Filling this gap here as well. You've done this once before. It didn't work out well. This was kind of a fake out. Generally speaking, whenever you close above the 236, that is an indication that you are ready to continue to the 382, that this is a low and that you're not moving lower relatively immediately, right? So this is a good sign. It would suggest continuation, probably likely to the 382. It's very common from a low point to a high point on a fib on your first interaction with the 382 to go just a little bit above it. This is one of those times where I'm not going to count on that to happen. It could happen, but I'm going to count on you kind of tipping it very specifically because this is a prior area of support as well as resistance, right? So a pretty key area. You might just find like precise like resistance at 1821 or at least around that area. Or if not, you're just going to blast right through it and go all the way up to the 61869. That could happen too. But I would more kind of expect that you do find resistance here. Perhaps you pull back to the 236 around the current price you're at now, if not a little lower, and then move up. That's very common behavior to do. Or perhaps you'll consolidate around this area, and then just move up. But nonetheless, the way that it looks right now, I would expect it more like immediate continuation. I wouldn't expect prices to go below 1405, and if they do, for a very, very brief amounts of time, if anything. If you get a day that closes below 1405, that would not be good. So don't do that, right? Don't get a day that closes below 1405. Continue to get days that close here or higher, and definitely want to get above, what was it, 1540? 1544. You want to get above 1544, and based off of this fib, I think you're going to. I think next week you're going to. So daily RSI looks phenomenal. It looks really, really good, you guys. I really like this bottoming pattern too. It kind of looks like an Eve and an atom almost, right? Or, if you don't like that, call it a W nonetheless, right? If this is a W, it's a successful W. The second leg, right? This is your first leg down. Here's your second leg up. I guess this is your second leg technically, but your other arm on the W, okay, right here, tends to, not always, but tends to be in a successful W longer than the first arm. So that would then imply that we are moving up to the 61869 or higher, right? So $27, $31, and of course, eventually, I do think we'll see higher highs than we've seen already this cycle. And just because it's drawn like a straight line, that doesn't mean we have to move in a straight line. It could go up like this, right? It could do like just this exact thing, right? Something like that, and that's still a W, right? It's still a W. So But I don't know. You came down pretty fast. Maybe you do. Maybe you do move up pretty fast. I don't know, man. I'm going back and forth. Normally, I expect that you go right through your 382. But this is like one of those times where I feel like just based on what we've seen historically, that you'd find resistance like directly right there. And sorry, maybe not that dramatic, but something that would then send you higher. But it's also been tested so many times. I feel like it's almost so obvious. And you are set up pretty well for this W. If it is you might just move right up through it, man. You might just go straight to your 61869. I don't know. Hard to say. Even at a minimum, you're at 1485 right now. Even at a minimum, 1821 in a relatively short amount of time. That's bullish, okay? So regardless, I do believe you're going to move up higher. Absolutely. With this daily RSI looking the way it does, I do believe you're moving up higher right now. So it's not too late. It's not too late to get in, right? I don't think this is a bad price to get in at all. If you're waiting on lower prices, you're going to keep waiting, man. You're going to keep waiting because they're not anything like I don't think you're going to get anything below $14 again, man. That's done. That's done now. I mean, unless I'm wrong, unless tomorrow on Monday, the next day that we operate, it's Saturday for me now, so tomorrow's Sunday. On Monday when we operate, if we close below the 236, then okay, maybe you're in trouble, but I don't think you will, man. So if anybody messed up and you sold down here and you're just waiting for another chance, maybe don't wait. I don't know. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but maybe don't wait. It's not the time to wait. It's the time to act. It's the time to seize an opportunity because it's not going to be here for long, right? Regardless of how it looks, whether it's like this, whether it's a straight rip and then a dip, however it looks, we've got higher prospects in mind. $88, 162. And beyond, obviously, right? This is just for the next move up, and absolutely can go higher than that. But I do expect new all-time highs to be achieved by the end of this cycle. And right, the all-time highs are at $500 on the dot, essentially, $510 on the dot. And we're at 1487 now. So that's LTCN, looking good, loving it. Let's look at BCHG. I'm gonna pause this real quick or mute this so I can cough. That was a good cough. All right. I wonder sometimes because I don't actually look at the audio as it happens. I wonder sometimes when I mute that if it doesn't get muted. Oh my goodness, I have to cough again. Oh, I got sick recently. Just a common cold. I'm getting over it, but it doesn't hurt. It hurt days ago. Now it's just annoying. Anyways, 675 for BCHG. Enough of my personal details. Finding support at the oversold zone, nice to see. Weekly RSI is not the best looking, but it's in an area where it could really do some solid things. And you've got a lot of room to run to the upside, so definitely a lot of potential there. Finding support price action wise at previous areas of resistance as you had before as well. Relative or discernible, I should say, macro low to this high, right at your 382. On strong moves, you would expect to find support on your 382 and then get continuation, rather immediate continuation. Being that this is a weekly time frame and it took you, from April till now to make this move, immediate, could be by the end of the year, right? Some like toward the end of the year, if not going into next year. But I definitely do expect you to be at new highs relative to this and relative to your prior cycle highs as well, or your all-time highs. Let's look at the more short-term stuff. I love the bullish engulfing candle you had 2 weeks ago. Nice, just kind of maintenance last week. Didn't really go anywhere, whatever. Daily price action. I like the daily RSI. It looks pretty decent. I don't mind the daily price action at all. It kind of looks bullish. It's a weird shape. It's almost like an inverse head and shoulders almost, right? But that would imply that this could go longer. But it doesn't have to. I don't know. It's probably not an inverse head and shoulders anyways, but definitely looking good. I like that you found support at your 382 here from your macro low to your relative cycle high. From a relative high here to a relative low, above your 236 as well, just like LTCN. So I would expect that that's a green light for continuation. Not only did you close 2 days above the 236, but you also closed a week above the 236. So 842 beyond that, I definitely think is on the way. You'll be sealing this gap here that you haven't been able to seal since August. And that could gear you up for higher prices. Absolutely, it could. So watch for that. I suppose it is dependent on the underlying assets for both Bitcoin Cash and LTCN. The better they do, the better the underlying assets do, the better the trusts will do. absolutely, I think that this thing's going, you know, not just to 842, not just to 1252, 1412, not just at these 382, 618, 69 targets, but all the way up to these extensions at 3753, 6710, and even into the deep hundreds, 200s, and beyond, right? So, but that's with time. These are the more immediate areas to focus on at the 382, 618, 69, and then the 786, 886 area, stuff like that. I do believe it's moving up higher. I like the daily RSI. I like the weekly RSI. Both the daily looks postured to go up. It definitely looks stronger, obviously, than the weekly, but the weekly's in a good spot to start moving up as well. And then also from this low to high, finding support right at the 382 is really nice. Right at previous areas of resistance, beautiful, and previous areas of support back here. It all lines up. Love seeing it. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say about Bitcoin Cash or BCHG, and I can't remember. I don't know. At any rate, though, I think things are looking good. I do think that you'll start to move up soon and hopefully have a green week next week as well. So that's all I got for you guys. If you want to hit that like button and subscribe to see more content like this, that's always greatly appreciated. Thank you for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.